All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussions, continuing our Saturday night's main event series. We're going to be going over night's main event two. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank, and let's get into this. This was October 5th. Was it? Yeah, October 5th, 1985. East Rutherford, New Jersey. So we got another Jersey one here. This one was pretty cool. If anybody hasn't seen this one, go ahead and check it out. You had Arnold Schwarzenegger in attendance for this one. The camera spotted him, so I thought that was cool. The card itself was pretty good. It started off, kicked it off with the WWE Championship match. It was Hulk Hogan versus Nikolai Volkov. Hogan at this point still wearing the white, not quite into the red and yellow just yet. Still wearing American made. He came out to, I guess it would be one of the patriotic songs for the U.S., which I thought was cool.
Yeah, the flag. We had the flag with him, and
then you had Freddie Blassie at ringside, which is a personal thing for Hogan.
Yeah, his former manager.
Yep. So Hogan gets the victory in this one. He defends the title successfully against Volkov, which everybody knows. I've said it before. Volkov always looked like freaking Jello. I mean, you couldn't tell how old this guy is.
He was a big dude, though. He's a big guy.
Yeah, but no athletic ability, no nothing. I don't know.
No, it was all about the whole Soviet gimmick. This is during the Cold War. This is 85. So this is Rocky IV, Cold War times.
Yep.
So that was the whole USA versus Soviet Union.
And they always had back then. They always had Hogan going up against the unstoppable monsters.
Yeah, Hogan loved that stuff. So and it worked.
Oh yeah,
and it worked.
It did. So Hogan gets the victory, defends the title against him. Our next match, if you blinked, you missed it. It was Uncle Elmer versus Jerry Valiant. And this set the record. It was 6 seconds. Yeah. Uncle Elmer wins. Well, he had to hurry up. He had a wedding that night.
Yeah, squash match.
Now, they said that King Kong Bundy's match, it broke the record at WrestleMania. That was 9 seconds. You go back and watch that match and with a timer, it wasn't 9 seconds, people. That match was more like 25, 26. I don't know where they got 9 from.
I mean, it's what's legit in this business.
this is true. The first thing that comes to mind is that Goldberg streak. So. Yeah. In any event, Uncle Elmer wins in 6 seconds. Yeah. And I mean, Vince just loved those farmers.
This is his full farmer obsession. This is full farmer obsession. Vince.
At this point, yeah, because you got Cousin Junior, you have Hillbilly Jim, you got Uncle Elmer. I mean, and you didn't do anything with them, so whatever. 6 seconds, Uncle Elmer wins.
They had 3 segments on this damn thing, too.
Seriously, the wedding, and the reception. Yeah. And the reception was funny because Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
The next segment they did was Ventura interviewed Bobby the Brain Heenan, and they were mainly talking about Paul Orndorff.
Yes, yeah.
How he tried to get him and he wouldn't. Eventually he will. But yeah, this was the start of Hogan getting into also to the feud with the Heenan family, because him and Orndorff were kind of working together here, and this led to the Paul Orndorff Roddy Piper match, which Hogan actually came to his aid in this one.
What was the story with the bounty? Wasn't there a bounty or something like that?
There was a $50,000 bounty on Orndorff's head.
Yeah.
Which Piper said, if I do this and if you don't give me my money, I'm gonna have your head.
Yeah.
Your grandmother's gonna be paying me. Which I thought was funny.
That was funny. Yeah, that was good.
So this ended in they said it was a double disqualification. I thought it was a double count out. Either way, it was a draw.
Yeah, either way, it was.
Because I didn't see. After they rang the bells, when I saw the chairs being used and stuff. But in any event, this was a brawl. Good match between the two. This feud goes back to WrestleMania 1. So Orndorff Orndorff doesn't get the win. It's a draw. In any event, now we go to the wedding of Uncle Elmer and Joyce. And what made this interesting is no wedding ever goes easy.
Yeah, I know.
At least Randy Savage's got as far as the reception.
Right, until it went wrong. It went wrong, yeah.
But no wedding in WWE ever goes the way it's supposed to.
No.
Just ask Test and the rest of them later on. Oh, my God. Roddy Piper comes out and actually objects in this one.
Yeah.
And I thought that made it interesting.
That was great.
I'm like, Piper, why do you want to feud with these farmers? I mean, really, dude. But in any event, they have the wedding. Then they show the reception, and they've got pigs and chickens around, and you hear Jesse Ventura. Some of the guests are arriving. I'm like, oh,
Ventura
God,
was a
dude.
trip, man. Ventura was great.
Now I see where Bobby Heenan got it when it was the Savage's wedding, and they had to tell, and Piper's telling him, shut up.
Yeah.
So it was just pretty much the same thing here.
Yeah, it was great stuff.
So the next match was kind of interesting. It was Andre the Giant and Tony Atlas versus Big John Studd and King Kong Bundy. And by this point, Rocky Johnson was out of the WWE, so Tony Atlas' partner's gone. Because those three guys were known for being six-man tag back then in the house shows. Andre always teamed up with the two of them. This was a pretty good match. Andre and Tony Atlas win by disqualification. This was the long-going feud between Studd and Andre. This would eventually lead to the storyline where Andre had to leave WWE as a result of them, and he wound up coming back as one of the machines. That's a 1986 storyline that we'll get into because I believe a Saturday Night Main Event did cover one of those. So this was a pretty good match. Andre still looked like he was on top. Tony Atlas looked great. You know, Big John Studd and Bundy. They were Big John Studd and Bundy. So our next segment.
Hogan. What is Hogan? Hogan gets involved, right? Hogan ends up saving them. Wasn't Hogan?
Yeah. This was where the Hogan and the Heenan family feud started, and then Hogan and Andre
ended up teaming up later on down the.
Yeah, they said that they had a big plan that they were going to reveal to everybody later on, which at the end of the night they revealed that at the next Saturday Night Main Event they would be teaming against them, which is one I'm looking for. You know, that was a pretty good one. Any Hogan Andre thing was pretty good. The next segment didn't put me to sleep. I was laughing my butt off. This is where Mean Gene Okerlund go into the Detroit Zoo to find George the Animal Steele. Oh my God. It's hard to believe this guy was a Harvard professor. It really is.
I don't know if he was actually. I know he was a teacher. I don't know if he was a Harvard professor.
It was said somewhere down the line. I never looked it up to prove it because I honestly didn't care.
I doubt it.
I probably do too.
I know he was a teacher. Harvard, I don't know about that.
I don't know. They, like I said, they let it slip out at one point that he was, and I'm like, really? I don't know.
Well, they show him. They try to like fix him, and they were doing those electric. I don't know what they were doing. They had him hooked up to something, and he turned normal. I think he turned normal for a second, right?
And then he goes back to his normal.
And he goes back, and then
to his normal self. And you know, he talks to Gene Okerlund for a couple minutes and runs off into the wild, and I'm like, oh my God.
Well, you know, like I said before, they were doing a little bit of like comedy entertainment, like throwing that in there too. So
it was a little funny, but it's like, oh, come on. So in any event, now we go to, I guess, the main event match of the evening for the WWE Tag Team titles. The Dream Team of Brutus Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Lanny Poffo,
Leaping
Lanny Poffo, and Tony Garea. Now, if anybody knows tag team titles, it's Tony Garea because this man held it multiple times with different opponents. So I mean, this guy knew tag team wrestling. Teaming with Lanny Poffo.
Yeah. If you don't know who Lanny Poffo is, that's the Genius, also the brother of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah. So I mean, in no way is he his brother, but he was good in his own right. They just never really gave him.
He's good on the mic. I mean, he was
good
on the mic, you know. So
this match was quick, and it was by submission that the tag team champions keep the titles. And
these guys were in the crowd, right? Weren't Rotundo
US Express,
and they were in the crowd. They were watching.
Yeah, One Eye Willie and Mike Rotundo because he had the patch on his head.
Yeah.
So I mean, they get another crack at him, but they don't win it because by this point, I believe it was Barry Windham that leaves, and then they put Dan Spivey in there, which didn't work, and then eventually Mike Rotundo actually leaves. Yeah. So their tag team title reign is now officially over. The two of them, you know, they were two-time tag team champions, and so the Dream Team wouldn't lose them until WrestleMania against the Bulldogs.
And if you notice, like the main attractions are early on the card, like the first match. Yeah. stuff like that. That makes sense because it's on late. It's already on at 11:30.
Yeah,
So you probably want people to tune in because they know at least, okay, we're gonna see these guys early on. If you put Hogan on too late, then maybe people won't,
they won't stick
they
around
would
to
have shut
watch it.
off. They won't stick around. So it was
They
smart
were
on,
always good at randomizing
yeah,
what the main event
yeah.
was
So
and where the title matches would fit in. So yeah, I
yeah,
always
that
thought
made
that was
sense.
cool. So the main event attraction of the night was Uncle Elmer's wedding reception,
Yeah,
and you got Hogan, Orndorff, Vince, and Ventura at the same table. Ventura gives his poem, which was funny. Lanny Poffo actually gives one that was sincere, and that's where you're like, oh, okay, the genius gimmick is starting. And I mean, it was okay until it was funny. And the highlight, of course, another Saturday night main event, another cake. Ventura goes into the cake, so I thought that was
becoming a
cool.
theme. It's becoming a theme now.
Yeah, let's just hope it ends at
Yeah,
this one. I
yeah.
don't think there's a
So
cake at the next one. So, like you said, adding a little comedy and levity into the
yeah,
whole thing. This Saturday night main event, it's it's progress. It's
yeah.
they're trying to build it to be something. So it was this one was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was entertaining.
They get better.
Yeah.
I,
No, they
I
do. They
guarantee
do.
that.
They do. This is early on.
Yeah.
So you guys let us know what you think about this episode of Saturday Night's Main Event. And make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.
Take care.